I was going to do a video about Josh Hawley, but something else came up. And obviously I am going to continue to talk about the shootings that happened in Georgia. But don't worry, Josh, your time's coming. I ain't finished with you by a damn sight. It's coming, boy. It is coming. But I need to continue to talk about this because quite honestly, I think it's becoming much more pervasive that people are trying to look for excuses for what happened in Atlanta, for what's still happening in this country. And all of it is pointing directly at Donald Trump and his followers. A Facebook friend showed me these photos. These are tweets directly from Donald Trump and reactions from people who posted against him. You can see the words Kung Flu, as in Kungflu, Kung Flu, and the China virus. And he's been doing this for almost an entire year. What did you think was going to happen? Seriously, with things like this, what you're seeing here, what do you think is going to happen in the minds of his supporters? When you keep pressing people that a group of people are a problem, or an infestation, or are monsters, or this or that or the other, what you're going to get is violence. What you're going to get is exactly what we saw, exactly what we've been seeing for generations now. But today it just got worse. Now the Republican I'm going to be talking about today is Steph Hawley. Again, Josh, don't worry, it's coming. Now, the one I'm going to be talking about today is Congressman Chip Roy, Republican from Texas, who is fighting, who, along with Senator Ted Cruz and everyone else in Texas, are fighting their balls off about the border struggle, about the nightmare that President Biden has unleashed on the border. Today in Congress, they were supposed to talk about the ongoing hate crimes and assaults against Asian Americans in this country that's been going on for over a year. Oddly enough, when the coronavirus hit this country, and oddly enough, when Donald Trump started using the terms Kung Flu and Chinese virus. Instead of talking about that, this is what he had to say. I'm sorry for putting you all through this. I really am.
The victims of race-based violence and their families deserve justice. And as the case, what we're talking about here with the tragedy, what we just saw occur in Atlanta, Georgia. I would also suggest that the victims of cartels moving illegal aliens deserve justice. The American citizens in South Texas that are getting absolutely decimated by what's happening at our southern border deserve justice. The victims of rioting and looting in the streets last week, businesses closed, burned last summer, deserve justice. We believe in justice. Right? There's old sayings in Texas about, find all the rope in Texas and get a tall oak tree. We take justice very seriously, and we ought to do that. Round up the bad guys. That's what we believe. My concern about this hearing is that it seems to want to venture into the policing of rhetoric in a free society, free speech, and away from the rule of law and taking out bad guys. So now we're talking about whether talking about China, the Chi-Coms, the Chinese Communist Party, whatever phrasing we want to use, and if some people are saying, hey, we think those guys are the bad guys, for whatever reason. And let me just say clearly, I do. I think the Chinese Communist Party running the country of China, I think they're the bad guys. I'm not going to be ashamed of saying I oppose the Chi-Coms. I oppose the Chinese Communist Party. And when we say things like that, and we're talking about that, we shouldn't be worried about having a committee of members of Congress policing our rhetoric because some evildoers go engage in some evil activity as occurred in Atlanta, Georgia. Who decides what is hate? Who decides what is the kind of speech that deserves policing?
Really? You were there to talk about the increased activity of hatred and violence against the Asian American community. And you want to invoke lynching? Lynching. You were there to talk about the violence against Asian Americans in this country. And you want to go off on some spiel about communism, communist China, which is not the subject of today's discussion? Which means either you don't give a damn about what's going on, which is obvious, or the fact is you're not even taking the time or the effort to understand it. I really don't know what to say to this. Oh, I don't know what to say about it. But here's someone who does know what to say about it.
I want to go back to something that Mr. Roy said earlier. Your president and your party and your colleagues can talk about issues with any other country that you want, but you don't have to do it by putting a bullseye on the back of Asian Americans across this country, on our grandparents, on our kids. This hearing was to address the hurt and pain of our community and to find solutions, and we will not let you take our voice away from us.
First of all, thank you, Congresswoman Ming, for addressing that. Second of all, I know that's going to fall on deaf ears when it comes to Republicans, when it comes to Trumpers. Just the last couple of days after the shooting happened, this morning I was trying to get through the air minds about this police captain, this sheriff captain, who decided to have a picture on his social media about China being the origin of the coronavirus. God, I'm about to say it myself. And every one of them who are Trumpers, obviously, are making excuses for it. He didn't mean it like that. The T-shirt, he was making fun of how Donald Trump was saying China. Really? Really? Now again, the investigation is ongoing. We don't know why he did the shooting. But we can really point, and the whole sex addiction thing, I don't believe it for 1 second. Now I've known people who had sex addiction. The people that I've talked to who had sex addictions, they go out and buy porn. Some of them go to the extreme of buying a prostitute. What they don't do is buy a gun hours before the shooting. This was premeditated, mind you. Hours before the shooting, go into an Asian-owned business and start killing people. Then drive an hour to another town and shoot some more people and kill more people. In another massage parlor, 6 Asians dying in total. 6 Asian Americans dead. And you're gonna turn and you're gonna look at me and you're not. And the one thing about this congressman, I know he's a racist. He didn't have to even use the word. I can even look at a man. I can look at someone like him and know that he's a racist. You were there to talk about hate crimes against Asian Americans in this country that's proceeded after Donald Trump kept shooting his mouth off about the China virus, the Kung Flu virus. and kept pounding that and pounding that and pounding that and pounding that into the heads of his supporters to the point where they want to do something about it. As I said before, you keep pushing that the other guy, the man next to you, regardless of what color he is a threat to you. Sooner or later, they're going to act on that information, and that is what we saw. That is what we've been seeing long before now. We've been marching to a moment like this. Trump had did on everyone, not just Asian Americans, but everyone of color. He started this campaign by calling Mexican immigrants, illegal or otherwise, rapists and drug dealers. Long before he became president, he screamed for the death penalty against 5 innocent people accused of a rape in Central Park, New York. He has done nothing to heal the wounds of our racial divide in this country, but he has done everything to exacerbate it. And as much as I don't want to make this about Trump, he is the one common denominator to all of this. I'm not saying racism was here before Trump, because it was. But Donald Trump used it as a hammer and pounded it in his supporters, and a lot of them have taken action. Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia, murdered because he was black in the neighborhood by 2 non-cops in recording it. This situation here in Atlanta, 6 Asian American women dead. Now, again, let the investigation continue. But when congressmen like this, like Congressman Roy, scream things like this, it only makes things worse. And when you don't have solutions to help the problem, when you're a man of power to find solutions to this, you're just making it 10 times worse. And the body count is going to be a hell of a lot higher than 6 because of people like him. I stand with my brothers and sisters in the Asian community. We all need to in this country. President Biden asked for flags to be flown in half-mast because of this tragedy. And people are joking about that. The soul of America is dying, and we are trying to build it back again. Join us. Not with crap like this. What happened in Atlanta? Not like crap like this Texan said, who's doing not a damn thing, who's not doing anything to help his state, to help the border, to help the humanitarian crisis that the Republicans are saying is happening down there. The way I see it, if you're not part of the solution, you're becoming a very huge part of the problem. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.